What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. And happy Thanksgiving everybody! You know, behind every great superhero is a really strong woman. Jesus Christ, in all honesty, I don't know what the hell Tony Stark would do without his beloved Pepper Potts. So in honor and celebration of all the strong women out there and in our lives, today we're going to be taking a look at the 1/6 scale movie masterpiece Hot Toys version of Pepper Potts from Iron Man 3. You know, it's a really funny thing because when this figure was announced about a year ago, I thought, oh, that would be nice to own a Pepper Potts figure. However, I didn't anticipate how popular Pepper Potts was as a character, and definitely how popular she was in 1/6 scale. Right now, this figure is actually sold out in most places, and I had to go through a back alley channel to get it over to me so that I can review it, which is kind of interesting. Needless to say, I'm so impressed with this figure. It actually was a little underwhelming in the concept photos, but when you see it in real life, and just the fact that you own this very unique piece is pretty freaking awesome. True, it's a little bit on the slim side when it comes to accessories, but you know what? It's Pepper Potts. You know, I didn't anticipate that she was going to come with a million things. Nevertheless, I'm so glad that this was sent to me for review. Now, you basically have two camps. Those people who really love Gwyneth Paltrow, and those people who really hate Gwyneth Paltrow. Whatever your feelings about the actress, this is an amazing head sculpt. I mean, it looks exactly like her, so depending on what side of the fence you are on that issue, you might hate this or love this. I personally love it. I love the detail, the facial sculpture is amazing, and I really have to give kudos to those who did the hair. I'm glad that they went with actual hair this time and not some kind of sculpt, because it really enhances the figure. And I gotta tell you, the highlights in the hair, just the way it goes over her eyes, look fantastic. Now, one of the reasons that Hot Toys is such a leader when it comes to 1/6 scale figures is because they never, and I mean never ever, skimp on materials. Now, you could argue that some things don't come out as good, but in terms of the materials that they use, they're always top notch, and this is no exception. This shirt looks absolutely fantastic, and first of all, it's made completely out of linen, and if you'll notice that it does have buttons running along the seam lines, and they're completely functional, which is absolutely amazing for me in terms of overall detail. Now, you kind of resign yourself to the fact that this figure isn't going to come with too many accessories, but you would be wrong. As a matter of fact, I was really impressed with many of the things that this figure came with. Little details like this attaché, which is fantastic. It reads Stark Industry, and it also reads Advanced Idea Mechanics Research Report. The cool thing about it is on the inside it has some additional details and some pages that you can actually take out. It's really cool. Now, of course, this figure is not perfect, and one of the criticisms that I always have about Hot Toys, or 1/6 scale figures in general, is these ball joints. Now, most of the time they could be hidden because some Hot Toys figures are covered by cloth or covered by armor, but here, since the arms are bare, you can really see those ball joints and they're jarring as hell. It looks freaking bizarre. But nevertheless, if you want to get that range of motion and that articulation, you have to sacrifice something. Similar to her shirt, the attention to detail in the cloth that was used for Pepper's slacks are absolutely amazing. I mean, they're so detailed, right down to the zipper, that it looks like something that can be bought in a high-end clothing store. I'm really impressed by this, as always, with every Hot Toys figure, the attention to detail and just these subtle things really make the figure. This is excellently done. As I've mentioned in other reviews, there is one thing about any figure that is really going to put it over for you, and this is definitely in her heels. I never thought I'd say that as a guy, but these are spectacular. First of all, the finish is done. It looks like they're actual shoes. The sculpt is amazing. The details, particularly in her toes, the arch, and definitely that heel in the back, is absolutely astounding. This is a fantastic work of art. Now, in terms of the base, they actually went a little more conservative and I would say a little more traditional, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Simplicity can be beautiful sometimes, and that's what they did here. It does read Iron Man 3 and the name of the figure, Pepper Potts. It also strayed away from the crotch grabber, which I personally think was a good idea. They went with a waist grabber this time, and that's how I was able to pose her in that kind of sexy pose, which is very indicative of Pepper Potts. Now, if you remember what I said, this figure doesn't come with too many accessories, but the ones that it does come with are pretty freaking sweet. If you recall from the end of the film, when Pepper Potts gets injected with that super serum, she essentially starts throwing down, and what we have here is an additional arm that she got from one of Tony's suits. Basically, it's a repulsor weapon. Now the cool thing about this is that the fingers are individually articulate, and you also get 2 additional hands, a fist, and another hand which has, again, individualized articulation for more dynamic poses. It just gives you some more options. If that wasn't cool enough, remember the repulsor hand that is an additional accessory? Well, that arm actually lights up, and thankfully the folks over at Hot Toys included the battery so we don't have to go look for these things. And they're pretty easy install. I didn't do it just because I didn't want to take it out of the package, but they are there, and thank you Hot Toys. Now the final set of accessories include 4 additional hands, and they're pretty standard. You got 2 fists and 2 hands that can grab onto something, which is pretty cool. Again, I didn't anticipate that this figure would have too many options in terms of the hands, because she doesn't really do that much, but they are there. However, this is the first time I've ever seen this. I don't know if Hot Toys consulted several women when they designed this figure, but what they did do is they gave you the option to throw away Pepper Pot's heels and just have her in her bare feet. Now, that's probably speculation on my part. The reason that they did this is because at the end of the film, she is barefoot when she's throwing down with all the enemies in the film. So it's pretty cool that they included this. The sculpt is really good. The only thing that I kind of have, and I'm not sure if this is because of the fact that she's injected with super serum, but her feet kind of look like they have some kind of athlete's foot. It's really weird. Overall, guys, this is the kind of figure that is so unique that you definitely need to have it in your collection. It's actually a surprise hit, and I can't believe how many vendors actually don't have it in stock right now. So for that reason, I really gotta thank the folks over at Sideshow Collectibles, Center Stage Collectibles, and definitely a gentleman named SlamDunk23. Thanks for making this happen and sending this wonderful piece over for review. Alright guys, so that's my official review on the 1/6 scale Iron Man 3 Pepper Potts figure. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.
She's coming close.